I'm not trying to have any label. I'm just a photographer. I'm just making my way through the world. I know what I feel now will be felt by people 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now.
Yo, we're back with another episode of Walkie Talkie. We're here early in Central Park with the homie Boris. Boris, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah. It's a beautiful morning. The weather broke. It's a nice temperature. Feeling good.
Introduce yourself. Let the people know about you.
My name is Boris Apple. I'm a photographer from New York City. I was born 2 blocks that way, but I grew up in Rhode Island. Back here now, though, making photos of daily life, whatever I come across. That's pretty much it.
What are we shooting with today?
Well, like a M4P that's breaking every day. I need to get it fixed.
We're here at Central Park. Do you shoot in Central Park often?
I do. Not as often as I used to, but it's just like a great little respite in the middle of the city. A lot of chill things going on, families, kids, turtles, etc. So I love coming here. Yeah, it's great.
Cool. All right, we're gonna start walking. It's like 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So there's not really much going on in here, but that's how you like it.
Stuff. That's how I like it.
Yeah.
And then we'll find some things further south in the city.
Perfect. All right, let's go.
Let's get it. Early morning busking, just for us. Your dog looks like a lion.
She does?
In the woods.
Boring.
Hunting.
Yeah, she's hunting, yeah.
Dog. So many dogs. This is just like the dog photographing capital. If it was a little busier, somebody was doing something right here. It'd be beautiful. Here, take my picture.
How long have you been shooting here at Central Park?
As long as I've lived here and before I lived here, I would make this a solid checkpoint. I used to stay at my great aunt's on 107th Street. So when I would come and visit before I moved here, I would just walk through the park all the way downtown. It's a pretty magical place.
Yeah. Is there like a body of work that you, like when it comes to Central Park, that you think of when you shoot here?
Todd Papa George's Walking Through Eden is beautiful. And it's a great mix of formats, if I remember correctly. So there's like his 35 stuff in larger format, like just natural landscapes and things like that. And just all of Gary Winogrand's stuff and Arbis, of course, and everybody who came here. Yeah.
Do you ever have trouble comparing yourself to like these big bodies of work that like have been done here, or is it more like inspiring?
No, it's definitely more inspiring. I don't feel like self-conscious or anything that I'll like never be like that.
That's good.
It's just such a long, massive lineage that we all come from that there's so much to pull from.
Yeah.
I'm more humbled and in awe of it all than jealous or anything like that. If this is a competition to you, then you're doing something wrong. Like This is for my soul. This isn't for, trophies or for points.
How do you photograph around here? It being so slow?
Well, I typically don't come here this early in the morning. I just like walking, even if I'm not photographing. I just see things. I see dogs in the woods and little kids, and it just fills up my cup, even if I'm not taking a lot of photographs.
Do you take a lot of candid shots when you're here?
All candid. There's like some occasions where I'll stop and ask somebody, or if the opportunity arises where they're like aware of me and I say something funny and I break that wall down and it lets me operate a little more loosely and freely. But it starts candid all the time.
It's hard to do sometimes we're here, especially in the park.
To be fully candid?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much space that if I see something all the way across this field and I just sprint at them full speed, they're gonna call the police. But you just gotta be not awkward and kind and funny. The funny goes a long way. If you say something like nice or funny to somebody, they'll almost all the time just break and let you into their world. But they're both perfectly acceptable tools. Little tree gradient. There's people in the background. Nothing. It's nothing.
You shoot all black and white.
I do.
When was the last time you shot a roll of color film?
I think the last time was during Pride of 2022, so like a year and a half ago, coming up on.
Like, well, why the decision to be like black and white only?
Well, it wasn't really a switch. I have been doing predominantly that black and white for years and just threw in some color here and there. something that started like right at the beginning, really. I started taking photos in like 2015-ish. And I was in a darkroom class in school and just learned how to do everything myself and print and develop. And so that was kind of the beginning of it. And then that was provided for me. But then after I got my own digital camera, I shot some color in black and white on and off, you know. But then when I switched to film in like 2020, just for many reasons, but that was mostly black and white. And I think it started mostly as an economic choice because it was like I could do it all myself at home, develop, print, all that, and it just made it much more affordable than sending it off to a lab or purchasing the actual color film itself. It was like half the price. I just love the way it looks, honestly. So much of what built up my taste, my craft itself is looking at the work of all of these greats that came before us. And most of what resonated with me was these black and white documentary photographers. Like philosophically, what I'm trying to photograph is like kind of abstract, not in like a abstract art way, just like these feelings that I'm searching for are abstract. And so shooting black and white is kind of an abstraction of what we see in front of us. It's not actually what it looks like in real life. So I think that just lends itself to that way of working. It just keeps me honest. It keeps me not looking for things that are aesthetically pleasing. It keeps me looking for great subject matter and form and light and composition and things that are deeper to me than the palette. Oh, absolutely. You guys look so cute. Let me get ready. Watch through the bike. My turn. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. That was cute. I was looking at him and I was like, I hope he asks me, or I hope I can get in somehow. And look at that. The universe delivered to me. You just gotta go outside, man.
How often are you shooting now? Like in terms of like days in the week or however you want to put it?
I mean, every single day. I don't walk for hours every single day, but I never leave my house without it around my neck, and doing laundry, going to the store. There are things out there waiting for you. So yeah, every day.
I get an email back.
Look at this guy. Sometimes you gotta cut him off.
Yeah, oh, it's bathroom time?
Yeah, it's bathroom time. Man, do I feel great.
So we're heading towards the UN. The UN General Assembly is kind of right now happening. What do you hope to, or what do you expect to get, or what do you think about getting when you go to something like that?
I try to go to things like that. One sec, let me just get this. I just like observing and documenting things like that are hinting at or screaming at people's angst and anger at the world, because I'm angry at the world, and I think it's important to document that stuff.
How many rolls of film do you typically bring with you on the day out? Like all day? If you're like, I'm gonna be out all day.
It depends what's going on. If it's like a major thing, like 10, but I won't usually, like the most I'll shoot on like a crazy event day is like 8 or 9. This camera's all fucking busted.
What happened?
It's all bent. I threw it on the ground in accident.
You threw it on the ground?
It's a long story. I don't want to get into it.
Is there a photo book recently, or maybe in the past year or so, that you've come across and it's kind of really just hit you and impacted like how you view your photography?
I got Whatever You Say, Say Nothing by Gilles Perez. And that kind of changed my life a little bit. It's like the highest form a photo book has ever taken to me. It's massive. It's like a life's work, really. And it's just an unbelievably sequenced photo book, an unbelievably told story. So much nuance, so much work. Like, oh my God. Has like been somebody who's always trying to blur the lines between photojournalism and art and being a historian and all of these things, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to have any label. I'm just a photographer. I'm just making my way through the world, and you just pull from all of those different crafts and worlds to better understand the world for yourself. That's what I do. I'm trying to find myself and my own thoughts on things out here, and hopefully convey those feelings and those findings to people now or later. And yeah, that has really come across to me in that book, and his entire body of work is really like nobody else. But more recently, I just got Eugene Richards' In This Brief Life, which is a lot of work that he never showed, or iterations of work that he's already showed, but it's different photos from those scenes. And that was a really beautiful one. Printed in Rhode Island. Shout out. And if you are into photo books, and you live in New York, you should get a library card, because you can go get any photo book, the history of the craft, for free, and you just look at it on a nice big table, and you don't have to spend $700 on these out-of-print books. And you should go support your library. Maybe I might have not gotten enough separation, but
Oh, really?
And then I went to real estate school. Oh, where's the college school? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, can I say
Poofy dog.
Have you had any aggressive confrontations on the street?
I've had people say don't take my photo, but I really don't shoot that way where people would get really mad at me. Yeah, I really try not to shoot in a way that would make people mad at me. If it's something important and I really enjoy it, then I'm going to. It's like a natural byproduct of doing this stuff we do. But I try not to use flash that much. That helps. And I just try to be calm and casual and smooth, and hopefully I just get to walk away. Or even more hopefully it's a positive interaction, and maybe we can talk about things and they're interested. Yeah. This is newspaper heaven. Jesus. I also try not to photograph something that I'm too ignorant of. If I photograph it and I'm ignorant of it, before I do anything with that, I'll go try to do some research, so I'm not just aestheticizing, if that even is a word, making a visual aesthetic of something serious or something.
Down with terrorist regime of Iran!
Down with terrorist regime of Iran!
Terrorist raising all of you, and now!
Look at the size of this thing.
It's crazy this is a New York City police car.
They have a larger budget than some countries' militaries, so this is where it goes.
That is great.
To tanks. I shot.
What's the story behind that fire in Williamsburg the other day? Is that Williamsburg?
Yeah, that's Williamsburg. That was wild. I really liked photos I got from that. Luckily, nobody died or anything. I saw on Twitter that there was this massive plume of smoke coming out of South Williamsburg, and I just got on my bike and got over there in 9 minutes. I had missed the actual main fire. The video was unbelievable. It was massive, neighborhood-wide giant plume of smoke. And so I get over there and the fire is mostly mitigated, but basically some bakery on that corner just went up in flames, and it caught these other 8 or 9 other storefronts next to it on fire, and it was just wild. There was it was the biggest fire I think I've seen. And there's all this crowd gathering around. I was just working it for a while. Some Hasidic man offered to, he suggested I should say, go up on that roof, get some photos. And I was like, oh, I'd love to, but can you come with me? I don't want anybody to be upset with me for being in there. And then he got some other guy. He's like, you go up with him. And so he brought me up to this roof, directly above the pit of the fire, really. And it was just a really wild, one of the weirder and more unique experiences I've had photographing recently. Because it's just 30 minutes prior to that, I would not have thought I'd be on some roof with a bunch of Hasidic families photographing a burning building, and their reactions to it. One of the joys of living in a city, I guess, is
And taking action quick, because you just saw it and you're like, oh, I gotta get out there.
I shouldn't say joys. It was a really sad day, but just being able to react to something like that, because things are always happening. And yeah, that's something that I would have been sad if I missed. Luckily, I scroll too much. But just jumping on things when you can is important for sure. I like empty lots, because one day there won't be empty lots. That was a sad photo. They look like 3 little lonely lost children over there, except they're porta potties.
What do you think will make all of this worth it when it's all said and done, when you like finally put down the camera?
I'll never put down the camera.
Or when you die?
That's the putting down. I mean, it's worth it now. It's just like a way of being, honestly. It's like how I interpret the world around me and make sense, or try to make sense of everything that's happening. It's how I just live, honestly. I have to. I don't know how to do anything else. And I feel the need to articulate myself through this. Otherwise, I'd be, I don't know, some inanimate object, some cow. I feel the need to articulate myself so that hopefully one day people will see, all this binding, immaterial, invisible things that hold us all together. That's too woo-woo, but you know what I mean.
What do you think people will say, or how do you think they'll view your body of work when in 100 years from now, you're no longer around?
I can't even answer that. I don't know. I hope I continue to make work for the rest of my life, and I hope that, when I'm gone, this stuff makes me immortal in a way. But it's not about me. It's I just hope that, people get a sense of what it was like to be alive now. There's these common denominators that I'm looking for of humanity, and all of these dreams and these feelings that I'm seeing and experiencing and trying to capture are shared by everybody. I know they are. We've been writing on cave walls for thousands of years, documenting and articulating ourselves is what we do as a species. So I know what I feel now will be felt by people 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, hopefully longer. Hopefully we're around in 10,000 years. And I'm just trying to be a part of that lineage.
Focal length of choice? What are we shooting with?
28.
Is that your go-to 100%?
I don't have another lens. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, sometimes I wish I had recently I've been thinking about getting a 90 or something, or 135 as a backup for different scenes. I brought one to that was a good day. The indictment day. I was using a Nikon, and I had I think it's a 70-200 for Nikon. And I got those guys on the roof. There's two, I don't want to say snipers, but they were security up there, and there's this big flag behind them. And I like that photo a lot. That was an intense day. And that was every photographer in New York City was there. Little days like that where I guess it'd be similar to if you were at January 6th or something, where it's just a little chaotic burst of the culture and the political landscape, and everything just comes to some little popping boiling point for a moment and then dissipates again.
Yeah, how do you feel about your photos from stuff like that? Really political, highly political stuff. Kind of like the UN, but I feel like UN is different.
I think it's all important. I do photograph that stuff a lot because I have strong opinions, but I mean, it's all just playing into the larger body of work, and it's all just a collective gathering of what's happening now, really. So that's, stuff on the street, that's stuff at political rallies, that's stuff in my backyard. It's just everything. I gravitate towards those things because they're so potent. If I'm trying to comment on something about our culture or our landscape or anything, it's easier to get that across if it's something so blatant. But that makes it a little lazy sometimes too. I don't want just a million photos of cardboard signs, But yeah, we'll see with time what I do with it or how it pans out. But people have been documenting that as long as there's been ink on paper. It's just important to document those things, I think, to get a pulse on what your culture was feeling and thinking about and reacting to at the time. It's just for history, honestly. It's why I do a lot of this, for myself and for hopefully more than myself.
What's a photo that you think is compositionally perfect?
So many, but the one that immediately comes to mind is the cover of Telex Iran by Gil Perez. This young man's like head with some marking on his head, and his eyes are just visible on the bottom of the frame. Then you've got half of a poster cut off of Khomeini, and then you've got these guys standing on a wall. It's like some charcoal drawing or something. It's unreal. It's just like his whole body of work is on that caliber, though, and it just makes me humbled.
What about a photo that you think emotionally kind of hits you? Like, I won't say the hardest, but like really, really hard.
Probably one of my own. I don't know which one, but like probably my own photographs, because when I'm sitting there like trying to make a set of photographs that are cohesive or go together in some way, I'm like, the goal is to like make myself cry. And if I can do that, then hopefully that will translate to people viewing them. But then non-me, Ward 81 by Mary Ellen Mark, and just all of those photos that she made in this mental hospital. Some of them are just like unbelievably powerful and sad. And there's one of this woman whose name I'm forgetting. She's like curled up in the bathtub, and Mary Ellen's shooting it from the outside, obviously, and just her eye is visible over the edge of the bathtub while she's like holding herself, and it's just really something. Rule number 3.
You just write development notes? +1.
I write the number of the roll. On this day, I'm just writing the number because I'll know. But normally, I just write the date that I finished it, and on the 400 or on the 800. Mostly just the 400.
What do you do with the date? Like, what does that go to?
I just on my sheets and on my file folders, I just have the date that the roll was finished. That could be really sad. Grown man with a scooter and no kid.
So we're coming up on East River Park. Why are we over here, Boris?
I just wanted to get a little taste of some non-people photo work stuff, because I tend to do a lot of that on the periphery in Brooklyn and Queens. And since we're in Manhattan, I figured we'd come over here. I've been trying, I don't know how successfully, to take a decent amount of photos of this park changing over the last 2 years while they do this big giant construction project. It's been going since 2021, I think, the end of 2021. I could be wrong. It's not gonna be done for a few years, but it's a pretty massive project in a place where a lot of people used to spend their time. So I think it's an interesting thing to document changing. I'm gonna try to get one just right here without getting run over. Try not to get run over on the FDR. I wish I could go like right up to the fence, but then I would be flatter than something really flat. Even this, dude, I have a photo here before this was all like overgrown like this. It was like much better light last time, but you can see it coming together. All this wasn't here last time I was here, all these paths and stuff.
Finish the sentence. I take photos because
I have to, and I don't know what else to do with my life. That's the thing that I've learned to do. And because it's how I understand the world around me and try to make sense of all of the ups and downs of my personal life, of the world at large. I try to funnel through this lens here. And I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't doing this. And hopefully one day all of that will pay off in some way for me or the people who come after me.
All right, that's gonna do it for this episode of Walkie Talkie. Boris, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Let the people know where they can show you some love.
You can find me on my website, borisapple.com, or on Instagram at borisapple. Or you can come say hi to me at Contact Photo Lab in Brooklyn, where I work on Saturdays. Come develop your film there, come to the shows. Yeah, thanks for having me, Paul.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
You know when they see us in the streets.
Now when they see us in the streets, all they wanna do is take pics, and I'm like, okay.